Hello everyone, my name is Rafael and welcome to my vlog. So today's vlog I would like to talk about something completely different. Although the topic is related to photography, but I just want to kind of take this whole thing from completely different angle. So several days ago I actually did a little bit of poll on my social media and I asked my viewers what is the biggest challenge and what it is the biggest struggle when it comes to their headshot photography. And honestly, I really thought that one of the biggest issues will be definitely, settings, cameras, gear, all those sorts of stuff. But I didn't expect that the main problem what I found what people struggle with is their marketing. And I have to agree that we're living in times where marketing is extremely, I would say, difficult. It's changing constantly and we have to take completely different approach to what we do. And sometimes it's like a huge big unknown. Like we don't know which directions we are going. We don't know what should we do, like what kind of steps we should take in order to make this marketing work. And that's why I think sometimes it's very difficult and it's very challenging for us as photographers to promote and market ourselves the proper way. And I just want to kind of dedicate this vlog and talk about it in some detail. So before I do that, I just want to actually recommend something which I think is gonna completely change your approach to marketing, and it's gonna completely change your view when it comes to the market yourself. And several weeks ago there is a new book on the market and it's wrote by Seth Godin. I'm sure some of you guys heard about this guy. I will also try to give you more information about this person. Like I will link some amazing keynotes speeches he has done. There's tons of stuff about this guy, and so that's gonna give you a little bit more, I would say, feedback on what this guy is talking about. And he is one of the, in my opinion, one of the gurus when it comes to the modern marketing. The information he shares, the knowledge he passed to people is extraordinary. I have to say, everything what he put in those speeches and also in that book, what I would like to discuss in a second, is going to completely change the way of thinking about how you should market your business and market yourself and everything what you do. So let's jump into it. But before I do that, I just also want to say that especially nowadays, marketing is a huge part of being a photographer. You can have the best equipment, you can have the best skills, you can do extraordinary work, but if you don't know how to promote yourself and how to have, I would say, the voice and how to speak to your audience, to your client, so they can kind of understand what you're doing and where you're coming from and what's your goals, you're gonna hit the dead end. There's no question about it. And you have to also put that into your, I would say, business plan. So if you're starting this career and you want to be I would say, professional photographer and you want to make a living out of this, marketing has to be a huge part of this. And you have to not only pay a lot of attention to it, but also, in my opinion, you have to dedicate a lot of time to kind of understand what you're doing and where you're going with this. So let's jump in back to the book. And what I would like to do is I would like to kind of introduce you to the book. I highly recommend it to read it. If you have a chance to get this book, just get right away and dive into it like ASAP. I got this book about a couple weeks ago and I spent literally 2 days glued to this book because there's so much knowledge, there's so much great information, there's so much kind of blueprint about the kind of new ways of market yourself that you're never gonna regret it that you even bought this book, because it's worth it much more money than any course and any other stuff you can kind of purchase. So yeah, you can buy it on Amazon. It's not really expensive. You can buy it actually on the kind of digital version. You can pretty much just get into it and start kind of putting some of those stuff into your, I would say, business plan and in your photography career, and as you will see huge difference. I used to do some of those stuff he was saying, not all of it, but that gave me much more clearance and clarification on some of those stuff what I was doing, and how I can adjust them and change some of those things completely or even throw out some of those things from my marketing. Because I think some of us, including myself, I have to be honest, I used to use some old methods and old technique, kind of repeating them, and we see they don't work, and we try to do this all over again, which is completely wrong. So I think we need some kind of fresh look at some of those things. So the book is called This Is Marketing. You Can't Be Seen Until You Learn to See, by Seth Godin. So let's kind of, I don't want to give you kind of all the details about this book. I don't want to discuss some of those things. I just kind of want to give you a quick rundown about what you can find in this book. And I create some 5 points which I found was extremely important from that book. I'm going to fairly quickly share with you guys just to kind of give you a little bit of idea what you can expect from the book. I'm not an expert when it comes to the book review, so please forgive me if I miss some of those things, but this is something what I took from this book, and I would like to kind of share that with you. So the number one thing what I've learned from this book is how to build the trust with your client. This is something which is sometimes very kind of forgotten by us. Like, we have kind of own agenda when it comes to the client. We just want to kind of get their business, do their work, kind of move on with our life. But building the trust is, you have to, as soon as the client shows up on your horizon, you have to start building this trust. And I think this is something which is extremely important. He talks about it in details, completely gonna change your perspective on some of those things. So this is something what I was struggling a lot in the past, but I'm still learning. I'm still trying to kind of learn some of those things what I should do in order to kind of build this trust. So the next thing what I've learned from this book, which was extremely valuable, and this is something which, especially for us as the photographers, is very important, is we have to understand who our client is, but also what he was saying, you have to also understand who is not your client. And honestly, I never thought about it. I always was like, okay, I think everybody is my client and I can get everybody at the front of my camera and I can work with everybody, but that's not true. And we have to kind of understand that, we have to accept that. And also, whenever we have this client who is not the right client for us, like, we also have to somehow learn how to say no, how to kind of send maybe the client to someone else who can do better job for them. So there's a lot of those kind of little things which I think sometimes we forget, and we're fighting for the clients, and even if we feel that this client is not right for us, we still try to kind of make it work, and we just make the situation even worse. And yeah, like, this is just, we know from the get-go this whole thing is not going to work, and this is pretty much done deal, but we still try to push it, and it's kind of cause more damage for us that, you know, kind of helping us with the business. So another thing what I've learned big time from this book is about kind of changing approach to our clients. And most of the time, and like, I'm not saying this from kind of my perspective, but I know we photographers, sometimes we are very selfish, and it's all about us, it's about our work, it's about what do we do, and kind of talk about the photos we do and how great they are and how we can improve them. And you know, there's a lot of those things which we look from, I would say, our point of view, but sometimes we kind of forget about the client needs and how we can solve their problems, how we can help them. And this book actually talks a lot about it, and it kind of gives you also completely different perspective on some of those things. And I found this, especially again for us photographers, this is something where we have to also kind of look into it and just kind of dig a little bit more into it, and try to at least kind of be in the kind of shoes of our client. Because sometimes we make assumptions, and I do this all the time. I have to admit, sometimes the client comes in to me, and I automatically assume, you know, what they need, what they want, and this is what is the best for them. And I'm actually creating this whole thing in my head, which is wrong. We're not sometimes a good listener too. Like, we want to kind of push this whole thing on them right away and explain them what I do and this is how this whole thing is going to work. But we have to turn a little bit our ears on and listen to the clients, what his needs are, and how we can be part of this kind of resolving some of their issues and their problems, and how our work can help them. And that sometimes, I think, it's a mislead and we don't kind of follow that path, and that's what kind of caused a lot of problems for us. And also that's reflect on our marketing and how we can taking this whole thing to the wrong direction. So another thing which I found very, very inspiring in that book, and also which in my opinion also is sometimes missing even with the stuff what I do, is marketing is nowadays it's more about telling the stories. We're getting kind of bombarded, and you guys probably know that every single day they try to force us to watch things. They try to force us to pay attention to some of those things which we don't want to pay attention to. Emails, advertising, everywhere where we turn our head to get our attention. And basically what he talks about, the different way of marketing ourselves, is just to telling the stories about what we do and how we do it and how we can help and how we can kind of be part of people's life and what we can do in order to help whatever they do and whatever they desire to our service to provide to them, so that's going to help their life. I think we all understand that, and it's interesting that we also, when we put ourselves in someone like the customer shoes, we understand the process. If someone is kind of forced some stuff on us and we not feel connected, we don't see the story which we are related to, this whole thing just doesn't make any sense and doesn't work. We're getting already angry. I actually react sometimes to some of those things, some kind of emotions which are not the positive ones either. So that book also kind of tells you a little bit of interesting facts and interesting things which going to help you to understand how you can turn your marketing to be more kind of storyteller about what you do, and then that's how you can kind of attract more people. So the last thing what I found in this book, which was also very interesting, is basically the book is kind of telling the reader about how you, with your actions, with your services, whatever you do, that the extremely important part to market yourself and market your business, market yourself, is that you want to do something which is going to change the world for some kind of positive perspective. And again, this is something which is also very, very important in whatever we do, because I found we want to change the world. We want to make the world better, and we have to show that. Open up ourselves to the world, and we want to make sure that whatever we do have positive impact on the world. And again, most of the time, and we see that on the daily basis, this part is missing. People have hidden intention. They kind of looking from own benefit, and this is something which is sometimes not, I would say, healthy. Basically doesn't do any justice to what we do, and people can sense that, and we are automatically becoming positioned where we're never going to be successful. I know I'm yapping about those things, and I'm trying to kind of put words from the book, which I was extremely inspired of, just give you a little bit more perspective on it. But I highly recommend, if you guys have a chance to read it, please take advantage of it, because that's going to help you tremendously with everything what you do. And even the book is more general, but I found it's extremely valuable for photographers. There's page by page where I was just like, oh my god, this is just amazing. I started highlighting some of those stuff because I just don't want to lose that, and I want to kind of put that into my marketing plan, and I want to make sure that I'm doing those things, because those things also works. So the last thing what I want to actually say is a quote from Seth Godin, and he basically says that you can do work that matter for people who care. And I think this is just priceless. I don't want to say I'm going to tattoo this whole thing on my arm, but this is something what I want to basically put somewhere where I can read it every single day and remember about it, because that's our goal, and that's how we can be successful in our journey, in our career, and it's gonna definitely help us with the stuff what we do. So I'm gonna stop here. I hope that was interesting. Please feel free to contact me if you guys have any additional questions. I will put all the links. Find this book. I hope that some of you guys already heard about it. If you guys can afford it and you guys cannot get this book to your hands, I highly recommend it to check out. He's got a lot of amazing keynote speaking kind of arrangements, and there's a lot of stuff on the YouTube, and I'll try to link as much as I can find to give you a little bit more information, and I'm sure you guys aren't gonna regret it. It's gonna be fascinating, and it's gonna take you on a completely new journey with your marketing. So Thank you for watching. I hope that was interesting. I will be in touch with you guys very soon. Have a fantastic, this time not shooting, but reading. So stay tuned. Thank you for watching, and I will chat with you guys very soon. Bye bye.